Committee Chairman and Constituency Executive. There is little history in the world that a person has laid down his life 3 times for the sake of his team. May 15, June 4, 1979, and 31st December 1981. That is the man, the leader, our founder, the inspirer, life to Lieutenant Zenator Rawlings, great fighter, rest in perfect peace, quality of Daughter Zenator Rawlings. National Chairman, General Secretary, Commemorating, is asking for permission to leave for another event after the National Summit. Let us all rise.
Let us come. Oh, Kedas may come, Kedas may go, but the revolution has come to stay. Revolution has a long way to go, but has come to stay. Shall we put our hands together for ourselves?
Choboy! 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 National Chairman, the General Secretary, senior comrades, cadres, members of the Akatamanso family, Nime, Name, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to stand on previously established protocols. Today I stand here with great humility and an opportunity to share a few reflections on the 43rd anniversary of the 31st December Revolution. My only sadness is that my father, the late Flight Lieutenant John Rawlings, was not here to witness this today. May his soul and the soul of all our fallen heroes rest in peace. Comrades, as wonderful as our victory is since this general election, I've only felt this weight of responsibility that is placed upon our shoulders with the high expectations that Ghanaians have of us. The people of Ghana are expecting that the National Democratic Congress will come and recalibrate and reset the moral compass of this country. And so we don't have time to rest. I'm not sure about how much celebrating we can do, because the amount of work that is ahead of us is so huge. The people of Ghana have placed a very heavy burden on us. But I know that because we have worked hard for this victory, knowing what lay ahead, we are ready for the work that we have to do. The NDC is inheriting a broken family, a wounded nation. This nation has become so polarized it's hard to recognize ourselves anymore. A nation that has now been divided not on right and wrong, but on partisanship, on cronyism and corruption. Not a single aspect of our society has been spared from the tsunami of the NPP government of these 8 years. And so we each have a responsibility to play wherever we find ourselves, to restore, to reset, to recalibrate. Ghana has moved so far off course that His Excellency President-elect John Dramani Mahama will need the best people on board to steer this country back on track. We are duty-bound to do what is right by the people of Ghana, for the sake of those who died in the pursuit of our liberty, and for the sake of those yet unborn. Permit me to go down memory lane. When in the 80s, millions of Ghanaians were forcibly expelled from Nigeria and arrived on the shores of Ghana, coming through our borders. The whole world expected Ghana to collapse. But that did not happen. And the reason was because we had good leadership and good followership. My fellow comrades, it's not enough to have good leaders. We as the citizens must also make sure we are keeping our leaders and ourselves accountable and on the path of the straight and narrow. That is the only way we can bring Ghana to her former glory and make Ghana truly the pride of this continent yet again. We have presided, or perhaps we have been unfortunately part of a group of people who have weaponized our democracy against us. That is not what democracy is about. And we have a solemn duty to restore the power of the people. But as citizens, we must not think that government is us and them. We make up the government, and we have that responsibility. So please, let's not look at a few people who are holding positions and think that they are the only ones who are responsible for doing what is right. We must all steer this country back on track. We must not allow arrogance, pride, and hubris to fill our hearts because of this victory. Because that will be the beginning of our downfall. We must maintain that humility. We must maintain that integrity. We must maintain the principles on which the revolution was founded, which finally gave birth to this fourth republic that we are trying to restore. My dear comrades, if the foundation on which this fourth republic was built was not strong enough, believe me, Ghana would have descended into chaos by now. And so we have a legacy that we can hold on to, and something that we must go back to. If there was ever a time for us to talk about Sankofa, this is the time. We need to make sure that we have leadership with integrity from the top to the base. We must hold one another accountable. We must make sure that we reinstitute consequence management, which means that if we do so properly, this psyche that people have of impunity will finally be put to rest. People must be held accountable for what they do. And those who do the right thing must be recognized for doing the right thing. It's time we celebrated our heroes for doing the right thing. And shaming those who use their positions to destroy and use their incumbency to amass wealth at the expense of the people of this country. The resources of this country are not meant for one family, one ethnic group, and definitely not for one party. The mandate that the people of Ghana have given us is a sacred one and a solemn one. We are at a dangerous crossroads, at a time in our history where we are surrounded by unrest, where we are surrounded by democratic reversals. We need to show that the path that we are on is the path of righteousness and the path towards a sustainable future where the integrity and dignity of all Ghanaians is assured. That is what the NDC represents, and that is what the people of Ghana are expecting of us. So wherever you find yourself, whether you're a member or a sympathizer or an executive of the NDC, your job now and for the next 4 years is to be the conscience of the people of Ghana, playing on the minds of your representatives in government as we get sworn into office on the 7th of January. As I conclude, I would like to quote a part of a speech by the then chairman of the PNDC in 1988, and I quote, "For many years we had allowed indiscipline, injustice, corruption, and unbridled lust for wealth of a few to destroy the moral fabric of our society. The obvious result of such widespread laxity was economic stagnation and social degeneration. But here lies the pride in being a Ghanaian. We know when enough is enough." And that is what the people of Ghana demonstrated on the 7th of December 2024 in voting the NPP out and telling them that enough is enough. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the last day of the year 2024. This is a day when we have our personal introspection about what the year has been for us and about what our hopes and aspirations are for the year ahead. As you take time out to reflect on your lives, I beg of you to do same for our beloved motherland, Ghana. Think about this country and what it has taken us to get to this point. Think about what it has taken for people in 8 years to bring us to our knees as a country. But how, by our defiance on the 7th of December, we rose up again and we are standing strong. Let us think about how, as a collective, sharing a vision of making this country a better place for ourselves, for the future generations, how we will work together with the common ideals laid down by our forebears, knowing that we may not necessarily reap the goodness that we may sow, but understanding that we do so with the choice of a legacy that we leave behind for the sake of the generations yet to come. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you Godspeed. May God bless us all, and may God take us into the new year with the courage, the strength, the common vision, and our principles to carry this country into a better place than we have found it. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
"43 years ago, J.J. Rawlings shook the airwaves
Fellow countrymen, as you would have noticed, we are not playing the national anthem. In other words, this is not a coup. I ask for nothing less than a revolution, something that is transform the social and economic order of this country into reality on a bonito. We are asking for nothing less than the plan to organize this country in a way that nothing will be done at the castle without the participation of the ordinary people. That's what the Keda concept. The atmosphere was serene. The masses have welcomed the 31st December Revolution. Hopes have started visiting homes. Brains met. Ideas gathered and mobilized, organized. The masses have taken solid decisions. They have started joining the organs of the revolution. June 4, CDR, CDO, 31st, and what have you. Essential commodities were scarce to come by. And the enemies of the revolution took advantage and they seized Mowax, rescued to DBC, and announced, fellow citizens, this is Lance Corporal Haldu Jiwa, the commander of the Arrows. The universities are open. Captain Kotochikata should report. Aye! The country was under siege. The dissidents have taken over. And the cadres over arms organize themselves. Aluta! And they blocked the trains. Captured them. Cadres everywhere are vociferous. Cadres everywhere are pivotal to the cause. No matter how discriminated they are. And no matter how poor they are. And no matter. Cadres are always remain solid. United. Fearless. Aluta! Notice, some sick, no hope. Some remain in wheelchairs. Some blind and maimed. Oh, when will the remaining ones be rewarded? Chairman, when will the remaining ones be recognized? Celebrated before they depart to meet their maker. Cadres appears alone, hypnotizes the masses. Cadres over arms are fearless. Yet, when they hear the heart and soul song, Revo, Revolution has a long way to go, but I come to stay. Some makes their depths in the drains. Who will listen to them? Who will fight for them? Who will console them? Who will heal their wounds? And who will take phone and answer them? Mind you, who will keep some of the JJ jokes? So I'm not one to an original. I need to say me any papa. Me only papa to say some no or onyai. Today, John Mahama is coming to wipe your tears. He's coming with the solid vision of the 24-hour economy. Grab it with your two hands. It's a policy filled with megaship, pregnant with benefits, incentives galore, so that cadres will be taken care of. We, the cadres of the revolution, we shall pour libation calabash fresh full of palm wine. And when the battle cry begins to sound, the sleeping ghost of our ancestors shall rise. All shall rise. JJ shall rise. JJ shall rise. Dec Rawlings shall rise for the hot battle of the earth to help the mama to succeed. Aluta! Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Very reluctant to make it a party program. somehow, I don't know, my spirit doesn't really feel always very comfortable when it's turned into a party program. Because my worry is always this: if we create the impression that these great principles or these foundations belong to only one party and not to the other, it creates a false impression that we have a nation full of angels in one party and full of devils in another. And I've never believed in that. I want to begin by saying that even after 31st December, one of the people who joined the government of the PNDC is President J.A. Kufuor. And there were people who joined from the other side. And in truth, there are many people who still belong to MPP today who deeply believe in these principles. So it's important for us not to make it a we versus them, but to try to always position this day, and also June 4, to be a day that almost transcends one political party and become a national heritage. Because that truly is what this is meant to be. I look forward to a day where MPP will be seated on the stage with us when we celebrate days of this nature. Because the country requires that this patriotic understanding become the bedrock for the whole of the nation. Because sometimes our own people tend to hide under these principles and create impression as if we are perfect and they are not. It is true that what we just witnessed on December 7th was Ghana coming together versus the NPP. The reason was because NPP went to the extreme and totally believed that this country had become their personal property. So the arrogance was unprecedented. The lie was unprecedented. The selfishness became totally unparalleled. We've never seen that level of greed and selfishness. The corruption, the decadence, the depravity, totally unheard of. And in the midst of all that, the policies were not spot on. So poverty became endemic. The poverty in the heart of Nana Akufo-Addo Bawumia and his government spread across the whole country. So naturally, the soul of Ghana will rebel. That's why NDC comrades, when we celebrate, I want us not to forget that this victory essentially has been the victory of the soul of Ghana against the decadence of the NPP. And just as Ghana rallied against NPP, if we don't understand it, it will not be long. The soul of Ghana will rally against the NDC as well. That's why what my sister Zenator said, I could not repeat it enough. That this actually is not just a moment of celebration, but it's also a moment of deep reflection. A moment to understand that we have reached a stage where we need to start transcending me versus them. Ghana has to start becoming the center of all we do. There are good people in the NPP. And we need to find ways to celebrate those good people and urge that they gradually take over the party so that that party becomes just as virtuous as we are trying to make the NDC, so that we can have two parties that both care and love this country and believe in truth for the sake of the future of our country. I know I'm expected as General Secretary to wish that MPP remain in the doldrums, remain totally kaput for life. But that's not my wish for Ghana. Because I know exactly who we are as human beings. The moment the other side that is supposed to keep you in check is no more, the tendency is for power to enter into the heads and the consciousness of our own people. And before you realize, the same depravity we complain about becomes the order of the day within our own party. So we must remain grounded. We must remain humble. We must understand the enormity of the challenge that is ahead of us. Ghana is not expecting perfection from John Mahama and the NDC. There is no perfect government. And Ghana is not expecting that somehow a miracle will happen overnight. And this country will become a country full of milk and honey. I believe what Ghana wants are leaders who will give all they can for the well-being of our people. Leaders who have the courage to accept the truth when truth has to be accepted. Leaders who will not lie to the country that somehow the problem being faced is coming from Russia and Ukraine and from COVID, when it's clear that the leadership is not performing well. And as General Secretary, on behalf of the leadership of the party, I can give a clear promise that we will not allow that politics of deception to become the order of the day. The truth must be spoken. There's nothing wrong with accepting when you have it wrong. There's nothing wrong accepting it. Accepting it that I got this wrong is not weakness, it's actually strength. It also means that even in our quest for positions as we win, we must be conscious of the well-being of Ghana. 8 years have seen nothing but selfishness and greed. And that selfishness is all about me and me and me, and not about Ghana. Now, so if today, all you are thinking about is me and me and me, what I can get, it means you don't even understand the victory that we have just got. Every night, every morning when you wake up, your consciousness should be, what can we do to ensure that we deliver on the promises for the people? That we bring a new paradigm that becomes a foundation for tomorrow. Not a constant calculation, what can I get? And if I get that, what can I profit? If that's what you're about, you are not different from the degenerate and the decadent souls that have governed this country over the last 8 years. Who thought that all they had to do was to amass and acquire and get everything for themselves, and everybody can go to hell. That is why, NDC, we must appreciate the bar must be higher. The bar cannot be lowered. Nana Akufo-Addo cannot become the standard bearer. Bawumia cannot become the barometer. Napo, together with the rest of them, cannot become the ways in which we benchmark ourselves. Our benchmark must be higher. We must look to that flame that blazes. That flame that blazed both on June 4 and 31st. And remember, we have a mission. And that mission is about our country becoming a place that can be considered to be the land of the free and the home of the just. Because that's what we say, that we have freedom and justice. That we must work to empower our people to give them that freedom that they need to become what they were born to be. And to be a land that fights for justice. And justice means those who are supposed to occupy a position must occupy. The position should not be taken from one who deserves to give to another person just because he's my friend or he's my brother or he's my family member. It must not be. It might mean also that you should not only be thinking about yourselves. You must be thinking about what works to everybody's advantage. And I want to say that this beautiful country is on a forward march. And there's nothing that is going to hold it back. And those who can understand where Ghana ought to go, you clearly must appreciate that what has happened on December 7th is a signal to everybody that Ghana will simply not tolerate this anymore. When Zenator mentioned the old man's speech many years ago, the final part of what he read was that a time will come where we will understand that enough is enough. And I think on December 7th, the soul of Ghana screamed and said, Ghana, enough is enough. the other to continue doing the same thing must be over. The quiet, secret belief that, you know what, they've had their 8 years, it's now our 10. We now have to make sure we maximize it. And the things we hear, that you guys, last time you didn't know how to govern. MPP has come to show you how to govern. And when you hear that, what they are trying to tell you is that MPP has come to show you how to be corrupt, to be degenerate, to be selfish, and to think only about yourselves. And you hear members of my party telling us that we must do like them. It means you don't know where we are coming from. You don't know exactly the foundation that we stand upon and where this country ought to go. Comrades, it's the last day of 2024. And we have a lot to be grateful to God for. God has been good to our country. This country could have absolutely descended into chaos. But somehow, the soul of Ghana is so mighty. And that soul spoke to the people of Ghana. NDC were just a vehicle through whom the soul of Ghana manifested defiance in order to make sure a signal is sent once and for all to anyone in government that you dare not use government to become a place where you think only about yourselves and forget about the well-being of the country. So on this day, we want to not just thank God for what has happened, especially in December 7, but above all, the fact that Ghana has literally risen. And Ghana is signaling to all of us that we need to do better into the future. We pray that 2025 will usher us into a whole new paradigm. We hope that John Dramani Mahama will rise to that challenge, and all of us will support him to set a tone to become a new wave into the future. A future that goes beyond just NDC and MPP politics, but a future that becomes fundamentally about patriotism, about people who love their country, people who put their country first before thinking about themselves, people who ensure that mediocrity does not become the way to go. Where MPP did one, I've done two, I'm better. No. Ghana requires maximum. So ours is to push for that maximum all the time and hope that becomes a competition for excellence for the well-being of our country. We want to thank you for standing firm behind us.
Menu makwekwe esa sempa kania. Seme namnam tia sempa na mamwa mania na mano kekame. Anyambia wati ANS Trading Agency Limited nka. Sa woka se door to door for no de ani wetwa. Esanse obie ne wa wo se wo was door to door business nim. Wo nneoma wo UK a wo de kwa Ghana. Ana se Germany a wo de kwa Ghana. 3 to 5 weeks e bekwa kodu nipa ne punu anu se try. Na de mo demonstration ko se adwuma de ewe mu ne se wo ho bo no. E da fom se boko. ANS Trading Agency Limited. E wo air freight special service. Ana nneoma ne ye de befa play. Entintempa na akwa kodu. Obetima fasa kwa we also the nneoma free Ghana akwa UK ana Germany. FGG dem which na also agina ye na men drop bomb. ANS Trading Agency Limited pe and a 40 footer any 20 footer container. Ye fe UK ediko Ghana ana Germany ediko Ghana. Omo manuoma ye mere import o export o dem there for you. Omo Ghana na money 0249 170 423. UK has over free 0790 802 7527. Germany so 09173 771 2733. Ubenya ANS Trading Agency Limited. Our West Croydon ANS Trading Agency Limited. Quantum Brantem. Wana beboya baso. Maybe next time in a fill up from the bebro.